Donald Trump and Lindsey Graham are having a slap fight, and it is a sight to see. Don't act surprised either. Miss Lindsey is a Southern belle. Welcome to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. So, you guys remember the opening of the movie The Dark Knight? We'd love to show you the clip here, but we don't want to get dinged for copyright issues. In case you don't recall, the Joker and his gang of thugs rob a bank. As they do, the Joker kills each one of his henchmen, only to escape in a school bus. Keep that in mind as we proceed with this story, especially if you recognize this guy. We have a feeling you do. Lindsey Graham and Donald Trump have a complicated history, to say the least. When Trump first ran for president in 2016, Graham had this to say to his voter base.
Well, I want to talk to the Trump supporters for a minute. I don't know who you are, and I don't know why you like this guy. I think what you like about him, he appears to be strong when the rest of us are weak. He's a very successful businessman, and he's going to make everything great. He's going to take all the problems of the world and put them in a box and make your life better. That's what he's selling. Here's what you're buying. He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. He doesn't represent my party. He doesn't represent the values that the men and women who wear the uniform are fighting for.
How the worm has turned, which is ironic because I never pegged Miss Lindsey as versatile. Anyway, as soon as Trump got elected the first time, Graham's tune changed. He became one of the staunchest defenders of Donald Trump and played a key role in the Supreme Court appointments of Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett. In Trump's impeachments, the first when Trump threatened to withhold funding for Ukraine's defense against Russia in exchange for the Ukrainian government digging up or falsifying dirt on Joe Biden, and the second after the January 6th insurrection, Graham voted for acquittal. Such a man of principles, that Lindsey Graham. Huh. This is from the man who served as House manager during Bill Clinton's impeachment for lying in a civil deposition. But we digress. Despite all the behind-kissing, and Graham is really into that, it looks like Donald Trump has thrown Lindsey Graham under the bus yet again. This may have something to do with it.
What did Trump do to get the weapons flowing? He created a loan system. They're sitting on $10 to $12 trillion of critical minerals in Ukraine. They could be the richest country in all of Europe. I don't want to give that money and those assets to Putin to share with China. If we help Ukraine now, they can become the best business partner we ever dreamed of. That $10 to $12 trillion of critical mineral assets could be used by Ukraine and the West, not given to Putin and China. This is a very big deal. How Ukraine ends. Let's help them win a war we can't afford to lose. Let's find a solution to this war. But they're sitting on a gold mine to give Putin $10 or $12 trillion of critical minerals that he will share with China is ridiculous.
Graham, it goes without saying, has a much better understanding of international dynamics, the importance of Ukraine, and the dangers of Vladimir Putin than Donald Trump does. It also seems like Lindsey Graham really wishes Trump would have tapped him for Secretary of State and not Marco Rubio. As you probably know, Trump and Putin are meeting in Saudi Arabia at the time of this report to discuss an end to the war in Ukraine. They are doing so without any other European nations, including Ukraine, represented at the talks. In response to this, Lindsey Graham has proposed an additional $48 billion in aid to Ukraine in the new government spending bill. Already, MAGA has gone ballistic on social media, not that it really matters, though Donald Trump is also fanning the flames. This morning, he tweeted this. The House and Senate are doing a spectacular job of working together as one unified and unbeatable team. However, unlike the Lindsey Graham version of the very important legislation currently being discussed, the House resolution implements my full America First agenda, everything, and not just parts of it. We need both chambers to pass the House budget to kickstart the reconciliation process and move all our priorities to the concept of one big, beautiful bill. It will, without question, make America great again. You know, I never thought I would say this, but Miss Lindsey is right. The war in Ukraine is about more than just Ukraine. It's about all of us and the future of global hegemony. If NATO, as led by the United States, doesn't stand up to Putin's land grab now, it will set a dangerous precedent that large nations can invade small ones. And don't expect Putin to stop there either. He'll annex Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, perhaps even parts of Poland. China will annex Taiwan and spread more military power throughout the South China Sea, even going so far as to threaten Australia. These petty conflicts over smaller nations or bits of territory might seem trivial, But remember, that's how both world wars started. We don't need another one. So here's the good news. MAGA diehards in Congress will almost certainly oppose Graham's budget proposal, which also has the support of Mitch McConnell in the Senate. But with their narrow majorities in both chambers, Graham and McConnell will need Democrats to see the funding bill through to passage. That gives key Democratic lawmakers the kind of influence they need to push back against Trump's cabinet appointments, DOJ, and the rest of his lunatic agenda. It also gives Graham, McConnell, and the few remaining decent human beings holding GOP office a chance to forge a new alliance with Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, and the Democrats. Bipartisan might save our nation after all. Current government funding runs out on March 14th, so the Congress has less than a month to pass a budget. Count on this story remaining a major headline in the coming weeks. We'll keep you updated on all new developments. This is Occupy Democrats.